Anfield exploded with emotion on a night that will be remembered for years, not only because Liverpool humbled Real Madrid, but because destiny crafted a tale of two men on the same flank. Conor Bradley, the fearless Northern Irish right-back, stepped into the spotlight like a man possessed, while Trent Alexander-Arnold, once the darling of the Kop, returned home only to taste the bitterness of rejection. Football loves its irony. The same crowd that used to chant Trent's name now sang for Bradley with fire and pride. Every crunching tackle, every sprint down the right side from the 22-year-old was met with thunderous cheers, as if Anfield itself had chosen its new guardian. And when Trent, now in Madrid's white, touched the ball, the echoes of discontent rolled like storm clouds over the stadium. This wasn't just another European night, it was a symbolic shift. Under Arne Slot's command, Liverpool looked reborn, sharp and hungry. The triumph was more than 3 points. It was a statement that the next generation has arrived, and somewhere in the noise and glory, the story of Liverpool's right flank was rewritten, one man rising to the roar, another fading into silence.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness.
Conor Bradley played like a man who'd been waiting his whole life for this moment, and when it came, he seized it with both hands and a fearless grin. Against Real Madrid, he didn't just defend, he dominated. Vinicius Jr., one of Europe's most electric wingers, found himself locked in a personal cage built of pure determination and Northern Irish grit. Each time the Brazilian tried to dribble past, Bradley simply said, "Not today." It was a performance that rekindled memories of Liverpool's prime under Klopp, that relentless energy, the blood-red storm that never stops chasing, tackling and running. Bradley embodied that spirit. He wasn't just marking Vinicius, he was stamping his identity on the game. 3 successful dribbles, 7 ball recoveries, 7 duels won. Those weren't just numbers, they were declarations. Arne Slot saw it too. Conor Bradley was exceptional, he said afterward. Facing Vinicius one-on-one that many times, that's not for everyone. Slot knew he'd found more than a backup. He'd found a statement of Liverpool's future. Every time Bradley lunged, the crowd roared like a tidal wave. "Bradley! Bradley!" echoed through the Kop, not just as applause, but as an anointment. This was more than a good night. It was the night a new Liverpool hero was born. The Spanish press, rarely generous, couldn't help but take notice. Marca called his marking remarkably sharp, while AS admitted Vinicius looked utterly outmatched. Coming from Madrid's home media, that's as close to a standing ovation as you'll ever get. And yet, what made Bradley's night truly special wasn't just the stats or praise. It was the way he made Anfield feel alive again. His tackles had rhythm, his runs had purpose, and his energy was contagious. You could feel it in the stands. This was Liverpool football again. Brave, relentless, unafraid. Somewhere deep down, every Liverpool fan knew this moment meant something more. For years, the right-back position belonged to Trent, the hometown hero who turned assists into art. But on this night, Bradley didn't just fill that role, he redefined it. He played with the hunger of someone who hadn't been told he was great yet, and that hunger lit up Anfield like a fire under a cold Merseyside sky. As the final whistle blew, Bradley raised his arms to the Kop, a wide grin cutting across his face. He wasn't thinking about comparisons or replacements, just the pure joy of knowing he'd given everything. And when the fans sang his name again, louder this time, it was clear. Liverpool's right flank had a new heartbeat.
Wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
If Conor Bradley's night was a fairy tale, then Trent Alexander-Arnold's return to Anfield was a cold, cruel reminder that football doesn't wait for anyone. Once the boy wonder of Merseyside, the local lad who brought poetry to passing, Trent stepped back onto the pitch where he built his legend, only to find the applause had turned into echoes of resentment. Before kick-off, the signs were already there. The mural of Trent, once a proud symbol near Anfield, had been vandalised, a silent protest from fans who felt abandoned. As he emerged from the tunnel in Madrid's all-white kit, the boos cascaded down like acid rain. There was no nostalgia, no welcome home, only the painful sound of rejection from the people who once adored him. And when Xabi Alonso, a hero of Anfield past, sent Trent onto the pitch in the 81st minute, hoping for a spark, it felt almost tragic. Liverpool were already leading, the Kop already roaring for victory. But every touch Trent took seemed to make things worse. His rhythm was gone, his timing off, his confidence shaken. Then came the moment no player ever wants, a wild, aimless cross sailing straight out of play, followed by mocking laughter from the stands. In that instant, Trent looked lost. The man who once ruled the right flank of Anfield now stood there, shoulders heavy, surrounded by ghosts of chance that used to lift him. Even Madrid's media wasn't kind. Mundo Deportivo gave him a single star, the same as Vinicius and Mbappe, a brutal reminder that reputation means nothing when performance fails to follow. But the most cutting blow wasn't from journalists. It came from the Kop itself. As Trent walked past the touchline, fans began to sing Steven Gerrard's name, a not-so-subtle tribute to loyalty, to the kind of devotion Trent was now accused of betraying. The contrast couldn't have been sharper. Gerrard who stayed, Trent who left. One immortalised, the other scrutinised. Football has always been a game of emotion as much as tactics, and in that moment, Anfield's message was clear. Love here must be earned, not remembered. For Trent, it was a harsh homecoming, one that may linger longer than the result itself. He had come back to prove something, but all he found was how quickly the game moves on. Once, he was the heartbeat of Liverpool's future. Now he was a visitor in his own story. Watching from the sidelines as Bradley stole the spotlight, Trent could only bow his head, not in shame, but in the quiet realisation that time at Anfield waits for no one.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love.
Liverpool's victory over Real Madrid was more than a scoreline. It was a statement of renewal. For the first time in months, Anfield felt alive again, pulsing with that unmistakable energy that only this ground can produce when it senses something special brewing. The 6 defeats in 7 games suddenly felt like a distant memory, washed away by the roar of belief. Conor Bradley became the embodiment of that rebirth, young, hungry, fearless. He reminded everyone what Liverpool stands for, not glamour or reputation, but grit, heart, and the unshakable will to rise again. He didn't just defend a flank, he carried the spirit of the Kop on his back, and in doing so he gave fans something priceless, hope for the next era. For Trent Alexander-Arnold, the night was a painful mirror, but football is full of redemption stories, and if there's one thing Liverpool teaches, it's that comebacks are always possible. Maybe one day the prodigal son will find his way back into those cheers, not as a ghost of the past, but as part of the future. Until then, the message from Anfield is clear. Liverpool endures, evolves, and never stops believing. The torch has passed, but the fire burns brighter than ever.
For the fakeness, if you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll